Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. What I'd like to do is draw your attention to the mountains, the Hindu Kush Himalayan region, and I hope, can you project that image on the screen, please? In the mountain region, the Himalayan region, stretching from Afghanistan to Myanmar, is a source of 10 major Asian river basins. I see it over here to the right. We have about 200 million people living in the mountains, but about 1.3 billion people living downstream. And if we consider the food, say, that's grown in the Punjab feeding the rest of India or Yellow River, we have about 3 billion people dependent on mountain resources. But I contend that less attention has gone into mountains than should be to deal with some of the problems. This is a photo, an image of Kaitrek Glacier on the Tibetan Plateau side, taken in about 1921. And if we look at the change in that glacier over time is quite striking. I will do that again. If you keep your eye on one point, say at the edge of the glacier, and then look at the change over time is quite dramatic over those years. So the glaciers have actually drawn a lot of attention to the mountains. And I think one of the big questions is, with climate change, what will happen to our water resources that are so vital for us? We have, over the last 5 years, developed a lot better science about glaciers, by the way, and perhaps it's not as striking as a story we first heard. Most of the rivers depend mainly on rainfall, right? So maybe about 5% comes from glacier and snowmelt on the eastern side. Probably on the Indus Basin is most vulnerable for that snow and glacier melt, and something to pay attention to. But where we need to focus more is on what's happening to the rainfall patterns, the floods and droughts within this region, and the shifting monsoon patterns. And then how to adapt to that changing hydrology is a major issue that we still need to look into. Now, when we talk about water, energy, and food, I want to draw attention to another angle of this, and that's air pollution, right? And here is the atmospheric brown cloud stretching up, getting blocked by this Himalayan belt. What happens is that impacts on human health. It's not nice to breathe in the air, but also crop yields. And also, what happens is black carbon settles on snow and actually increases snow melt in the region. So it hits water, food, energy, people very strongly. It is something that actually reducing that pollution is entirely feasible and will help also in our climate change efforts. But the idea with the nexus approach is, if you're thinking about water, look outside of water to some other angle to find solution. In this case, look at pollution. But what I really wanted to do is say, if we're focusing attention on mountains, the area of critical concern is this interface between upstream and downstream communities, upstream and downstream. Mountains, a wonderful resource base, all kinds of water, huge energy potential, biodiversity. And yet, mountain people feel that people on the plains are there just to exploit those resources, to build hydropower, to get energy to the cities, to pump the groundwater, without due compensation going back up to mountain people. And I think that's really causing concern when we're really looking at a hydropower boom. Question is, how do we get those benefits flowing back up to mountain communities, the people who have to conserve those resources for the future? And I think that is a vital. Look to take a people perspective, a mountain people perspective, and make sure we're dealing with mountain people issues if we want to really deal with some of the energy, hydropower, even flooding issues that we have seen. So my main message then is, in that water, energy, and food nexus, especially in this region, mountains are of critical importance, to make sure that it's not just the resources flowing downstream, pollution back upstream. Rather, let's get some benefits shared with mountain people. Thank you very, very much.